Edward Snowden has issued a cautionary statement about the current state of surveillance technology, emphasizing how it has significantly advanced and become more invasive compared to the technology employed by US and British intelligence agencies that he exposed in 2013. He suggests that the surveillance capabilities available today surpass the level of sophistication witnessed back then, rendering those previous methods appear trivial. During an interview that marked the 10th anniversary of his groundbreaking revelations regarding the extensive surveillance activities conducted by the US National Security Agency and its British equivalent, the whistleblower expressed a sense of satisfaction and conveyed that he had no remorse for his actions. He highlighted the positive transformations that have occurred as a result of his disclosures. This comprehensive discussion explored not only the scale of the surveillance conducted, but also delved into the legality of certain practices. Edward Snowden expresses his concerns about the encroachment on privacy, not only in the physical realm, but also in the digital domain. He highlights the immense influence that technology has acquired, prompting a reflection on the developments witnessed in 2013 that now appear insignificant in comparison to the current capabilities of governments. Snowden's words echo the profound transformations that have taken place, compelling us to contemplate the far-reaching implications of these advancements on an individual's right to privacy. In addition to expressing his apprehension about the potential threats posed by governments and big tech, he also raised concerns about commercially available video surveillance cameras, facial recognition technology, artificial intelligence, and invasive spyware like Pegasus that is commonly deployed against dissidents and journalists. Reflecting on the year 2013, Snowden expressed his disappointment by stating, "We had placed our trust in the government, hoping that they would act in our best interests. However, they failed us. Similarly, we believed that technology companies would not exploit us, but they proved us wrong. This unfortunate pattern is likely to repeat itself as it is inherent to the nature of power." Edward Snowden, the former National Security Agency contractor, has sought refuge in Russia since 2013 after leaving Hong Kong, where he divulged a vast trove of highly classified files to members of the press. Critics of him vehemently condemn his presence in Russia, asserting that it seems to be his only viable alternative to imprisonment in the United States. Despite the challenges he personally faced, Edward Snowden doesn't allow himself to be consumed by the past. Over the past couple of years, Edward Snowden has consciously made a deliberate effort to limit his public presence. This has resulted in a noticeable decrease in the number of speeches he delivers, as well as his withdrawal from engaging in press interviews and social media platforms. The primary reason behind this shift can be attributed, at least in part, to his responsibilities towards his family. According to Snowden, one of the positive outcomes resulting from the leaks is the extensive adoption of end-to-end encryption. This technology has become widely utilized by big tech companies as they aim to address the public's concerns and regain trust following embarrassing revelations that they had been compromising users' privacy by sharing personal data with the NSA. Mount Kilimanjaro, Africa's highest peak and the world's tallest freestanding mountain, has long been a source of fascination for explorers, geologists, and historians alike. Its diverse ecosystems, unique geological features, and storied history have made it a prominent subject of scientific research and exploration. In recent years, a team of archaeologists and historians uncovered a remarkable biblical secret buried within the slopes of Mount Kilimanjaro, shedding new light on the region's history and its connections to ancient civilizations. In 2000, a team of archaeologists, led by renowned historians and experts in biblical archaeology, embarked on an expedition to Mount Kilimanjaro to study its geological features and potential historical sites. According to a thorough examination of 6 cores that were extracted from the quickly decreasing ice fields at the peak of Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania, it has been determined that these tropical glaciers began forming approximately 11,700 years ago. The tropical regions were affected by 3 major droughts thousands of years ago. Lonnie Thompson, a geology professor from Ohio State University, who led an expedition in the year 2000 to retrieve these cores, described Kilimanjaro's ice fields as stagnant and said that they are currently in a state of decline. Although the biblical story of Joseph is one that is well documented, not only in the Christian Bible, but also in the Torah and Quran, it has generally been treated as a highly dramatized story very loosely based on possible historical events that are intended to teach a lesson, rather than act as a definitive record of what occurred. The story begins with Joseph, the 11th of 12 sons, who was highly favored by his father Jacob, much to the irritation of the 11 other brothers. He was gifted a token of this favoritism in the form of a lavishly colored coat that sparked the jealousy of his other brothers. The Bible says that the coat was colored with red and purple dyes, which were the most prestigious and valuable colors in the ancient world due to their extreme cost and difficulty in procurement. Faced with such a blatant display of partiality and frightened of the meaning behind strange dreams that he kept having, Joseph's brothers sold him to an Egyptian merchant and returned the coat to Jacob, smeared with goat's blood and claiming that Joseph had passed away. Once in Egypt, Joseph was imprisoned, but his continuing prophetic dreams and skills in interpretation allowed him to gain the attention of the Pharaoh, who was troubled with disturbing dreams. Joseph said that the Pharaoh's dreams indicated that there were to be 7 years of plenty in Egypt, followed by 7 years of famine, and he was given the task of advising the Pharaoh in preparations for the years of famine. During this time, Joseph rose through the ranks of the Egyptian court and quickly became one of the most prominent members of the government, as he oversaw grain storage and preparations to see Egypt through the impending 7 years of famine. There has never been a record of any high-ranking Egyptian during this period who was called Joseph, and because it was highly unlikely that a foreign servant-turned-prisoner could reach the ranks of top advisor to the pharaoh, it was always thought that this story was more of a richly embellished parable than a factual tale recounting actual events. However, a recent discovery in Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania has lent some credence to Joseph's story. Mount Kilimanjaro is the source of the Nile River's water, and the Nile River was, and still is, the lifeblood of Egypt. Without it full and flowing, crops and livestock would weaken and would stop growing, and famine would spread across the land, just as Joseph predicted in his interpretations of the pharaoh's dreams. And studies of Kilimanjaro ice cores have found that there was a massive drought that took place about 3,600 years ago, around the same time that Joseph would have been advising the king. Additionally, a canal that was built to keep the Nile River branches open and flowing and allow the tributaries around it to remain fertile did such an excellent job that it is still in use today and functions successfully. Nobody knows who built the canal, but its Arabic name has been passed down from ancient times by the people who live nearby and translates to the waterway of Joseph, leading many to believe that it was built by Joseph in an effort to reduce the impact of the famine. While we may never know which parts of the story are true and which are myths, it certainly seems that these historical discoveries lend credence to the biblical events. The discovery also has significant implications for the study of biblical archaeology, as it provides tangible evidence of the widespread influence of the ancient Israelite civilization and its interactions with other cultures. It underscores the importance of continued research and exploration in order to uncover new insights into the history of the Israelites and their connections to other ancient civilizations. The unearthing of a biblical secret on Mount Kilimanjaro represents a remarkable achievement in the field of archaeology and serves as a testament to the power of interdisciplinary research and exploration. The discovery on the slopes of Africa's highest peak challenges our understanding of the region's history and the connections between ancient civilizations. As scientists continue to delve into the secrets of the past, new discoveries, such as this one, have the potential to reshape our understanding of human history.
Leonard Woolley and the Flood, Mesopotamian archaeological evidence. The Mesopotamian flood has been speculated on for centuries and has been investigated time and time again. The majority of historians assert that the Great Flood occurred during the rise of humanity and was the source of the fabled biblical tale of Noah's Ark. During excavations in 1928 to 1929, archaeologists at the historical sites of and Kish unearthed flood deposits which they connected with the flood as according to ancient Hebrew scriptures. Sir Charles Leonard Woolley, a famous British archaeologist, arrived at the scene to investigate further, and it did not take him long to reach his conclusion. It was, in his eyes, proof of the flood. In an excerpt from his 1954 book, he states, "By the time I had written up my notes, I was quite convinced of what it all meant, but I wanted to see whether others would come to the same conclusion. So I brought up 2 of my staff and, after pointing out the facts, asked for their explanation. They did not know what to say. My wife came along and looked and was asked the same question, and she turned away, remarking casually, 'Well, of course, it's the flood.' The first test pit used by Woolley was tiny, so the following archaeological season he dug up several more test pits, one of which being ridiculously large, 75 by 60 feet and 65 feet deep. In this pit he found a deposit of clean, water-laid soil up to 11 feet thick. Notably, this evidence of the flood was lacking in several other pits in the area, but Woolley wholeheartedly believed that he had found proof of the biblical flood. After only a few years, another discovery was made at a third Mesopotamian site, Shuruppak, where they found a flood stratum. According to myth, Ziusudra, the Sumerian Noah, lived in Shuruppak. This flood residue separated the skeletal remains from the late Proto-Literate and early dynastic period, dating around 2950 and 2850 BCE, though no other Mesopotamian sites have any such evidence. Despite an attempt made by the creationists to decide an exact timeline for biblical events, the Bible lacks any specific dates for the flood that occurred in Genesis, or any other mentioned happening. Stories of the Mesopotamian flood are useful since one is able to draw similarities and contrast differences between the flood of Noah's Ark in Hebrew scriptures and the myth of the Mesopotamian floods, and debate whether they were one and the same. Many scholars through the ages have believed wholeheartedly that the similarities between the two provide irrefutable proof of the biblical flood's existence. As such, the widely accepted view is that the original accounts that appear in Genesis arose in Mesopotamia, and this is further proven by the fact that Mesopotamian accounts of such great terrible flood outdate the accounts made in the Bible. Furthermore, the Sumerian king list references a great flood. The king list is a very complicated document which has multiple editions. It's thought that it was created at some point in 2100 BCE. The king list is a report of every monarch and all the dynasties of ancient Mesopotamia, from the origin of kingship, which descended from heaven, up until the time it was made. However, the list is flawed. The length of each king's reign is impossibly long, and several early dynasties have glaring discrepancies. Even with these mistakes in mind, the Sumerian king list is a valuable document which has preserved names and bloodlines of real ancient rulers. According to the king list, the flood destroyed everything, cutting through the dynasties until kingship once again descended from heaven and the list of rulers continued. The majority of modern creationists often choose to ignore the Sumerian king list completely, stating that the Mesopotamian flood does not fall into agreement with the liberalist view of the Genesis flood. Primarily the fact that, if the Bible is to be taken seriously, Noah and his family were the flood's only survivors. The king list opposes this view. The problem is that if you ignore the evidence provided by the Sumerian king list, then the findings at Ur and Kish must too be ignored, as they only support claims of a local flood which would have certainly left survivors. The flood, though intense, was not nearly as large-scale as the Bible claimed its Genesis flood to have been, and though severely destructive, would not have destroyed every human in its vicinity. The question of whether what Leonard Woolley found was the remnants of the biblical flood or simply an unrelated natural disaster has yet to be answered because there is a lack of modern investigation. The flooding of southern Mesopotamia was presumably disastrous enough for stories of a great flood to spread through the country and ancient world. But because the records we have are so old and were passed down by word of mouth for centuries before being written down, many details have surely been exaggerated or simply lost to time. A relic of the precious blood. In 1247, King Henry III claimed to have his hands on an incredibly precious artifact, a vial containing Jesus' blood. He instructed his nobles to gather for a meeting at Westminster Abbey, London, for the purpose of sharing something with them. This was of the utmost importance, but at the time did not say exactly what he would be disclosing prior to the event. Rather, he only referred to it in vague terms as a holy benefit. As the nobles eagerly and curiously gathered, King Henry finally disclosed the reasoning behind such a gathering. He relayed that he was in possession of what he claimed to be drops of Jesus' blood, which was securely enclosed within a vial. His claims were backed up by various means that would have indicated immense credibility at the time, such as seals from bishops, Knights Templars, and the Patriarch of Jerusalem. The king ceremoniously carried the vial within his own hands, taking it to the abbey where he entrusted it in the hands of monks. The bishop claimed that whoever praised the relic would be blessed with 6 years plus 160 days of indulgences. For avid Christian followers, this was most certainly a holy benefit. Surprisingly though, the reveal of the relic did not gather as much attention as one would expect. This was probably due to the fact that its authenticity and credibility was questioned. Another similar relic was claimed to have been found in a different abbey located in Gloucestershire. This artifact was met with a lot more excitement. As it turns out though, whoever doubted the authenticity of the relic was not wrong to do so. In fact, King Henry VIII put the vial to the test. The examiners concluded that it was not Jesus' blood, but rather a combination mixture of honey, saffron, and maybe goose blood. Some argue that it may have been presented as a political move on King Henry III's part to gain the trust of his people. Today, other exhibits with the same claims exist, with the most famous one being the Basilica of the Holy Blood located in Belgium.
In the ancient city of Jerusalem, where history and spirituality intertwine, a profound event was about to unfold, one that would ignite curiosity and wonder across the world. It was a tranquil day, with the golden sun lighting up the ancient walls. Amidst the sunlight, a small group of friends sat atop a rooftop terrace, savouring the view of the Dome of the Rock, an iconic symbol of the city's rich religious heritage. Among them was a young archaeologist with an insatiable thirst for uncovering ancient mysteries. He had come to Jerusalem, drawn by the allure of its history and the echoes of stories whispered by the ancient stones. As the friends chatted and laughed, their attention was suddenly drawn to a peculiar light in the sky. It glowed with an otherworldly luminescence, emanating from what appeared to be a cross-shaped object, hovering silently over the Dome of the Rock. The group fell into a stunned silence as they gazed at the enigmatic sight above them. One of the friends questioned whether it was a drone or some sort of new aircraft, but it was clear to everyone that this was no ordinary aircraft. The object seemed to be suspended effortlessly in the air, its 4 arms extending symmetrically like a celestial cross. The light it emitted was mesmerizing, casting an ethereal glow upon the ancient architecture below. One of the friends reached for his camera and began capturing the event. He knew this was an extraordinary sight, one that only comes around once in a lifetime. As he focused his lens on the enigmatic object, he couldn't shake the feeling that this was not a mere coincidence. There was a sense of purpose in the way the object hovered above the Dome of the Rock, as if it carried a message from the heavens. The man said that the cross-shaped object hovering above Jerusalem left all of them in awe, causing them to question the object's origins. The fact this cross was seen in the Holy City made some of them question whether this was a divine encounter. Interestingly enough, throughout human history, across various cultures and religions, individuals have reported profound encounters with the divine. These experiences, often described as mystical or spiritual, transcend the boundaries of the physical world, leaving lasting impressions on the lives of those who undergo them. Divine encounters refer to extraordinary experiences in which individuals claim to have interacted with a higher power, deity, or spiritual presence. These encounters often occur in moments of prayer, meditation, fasting, or during religious ceremonies. Accounts of divine encounters are deeply personal and subjective, yet they often carry a profound sense of spiritual awakening and enlightenment. Divine encounters manifest in various forms, each reflecting the cultural and religious context in which they occur. Some individuals report seeing visions or hearing celestial voices, while others describe a deep sense of unity and connection with the divine. Some encounters result in a heightened state of consciousness, leading to insights and revelations about the nature of reality and existence. As of right now, the friends that encountered the glowing cross above the dome of the rock were left with more questions than answers. However, some of the friends noted that they felt complete peace while looking at the object, and said that this encounter changed their outlook on life. Oddly enough, this isn't the first time that a mysterious cross-shaped object has been witnessed. The skies have long been a canvas for mysterious sightings, from unidentified objects to unexplained aerial phenomena. Among the myriad of reports, one intriguing and lesser-known category is cross-shaped objects. Witnesses have described these enigmatic objects as having a distinct cross-like structure. While conventional sightings often describe disc-shaped or triangular objects, accounts of cross-shaped objects represent a unique anomaly. Witnesses report seeing objects that appear to have a central body or hub with 4 elongated arms radiating outwards, forming a cross-like configuration. These sightings have occurred in various parts of the world, and they share common features, such as their apparent ability to maneuver silently and with remarkable agility. Witnesses also often describe these cross-shaped objects as glowing or emitting various colors of light. Cross-shaped sightings are not a recent phenomenon. Historical records reveal accounts of similar objects witnessed in the skies centuries ago. For example, in ancient texts and religious scriptures, there are references to celestial beings or divine vehicles with cross-like attributes. These accounts have sparked speculation about possible connections between modern sightings and ancient encounters. The modern era has seen its share of cross-shaped objects reported by credible witnesses, including pilots, military personnel, and civilians. These sightings have been documented by governments, aviation authorities, and research organizations. One noteworthy example is the 1990 sighting in Belgium, where multiple witnesses reported a large cross-shaped object hovering silently in the sky. The incident was investigated by the Belgian military and garnered significant media attention, sparking public interest in cross-shaped objects. As with most sightings, theories attempting to explain these cross-shaped objects vary widely. Skeptics argue that these sightings could be the result of misidentifications of natural phenomena, such as meteors, aircraft, or conventional drones. However, many witnesses maintain that the objects they saw behaved in ways inconsistent with conventional aircraft or natural phenomena. Some researchers propose more exotic explanations, including advanced military technology, experimental aircraft, or even extraterrestrial visitation. One prevailing theory is that these cross-shaped objects could be secret military aircraft or advanced experimental vehicles. Governments worldwide invest heavily in classified defense projects, and the existence of cutting-edge technology often remains hidden from the public. It is possible that some sightings are, in fact, experimental aircraft undergoing test flights. Such secrecy surrounding military projects could explain the lack of official acknowledgement or detailed public information about these sightings. The advanced hypothesis remains a captivating and controversial theory surrounding these sightings, including those of cross-shaped objects. Advocates of this hypothesis argue that some unidentified objects are piloted by intelligent beings from other planets or dimensions, visiting Earth for various purposes. The distinct shape and behavior of these cross-shaped objects, according to proponents of this hypothesis, suggest advanced propulsion systems and technology beyond our current understanding. They point to similarities between these sightings and those described in ancient texts, suggesting possible connections between historical accounts and modern encounters. The term unexplained aerial phenomena has gained traction in recent years as a more scientifically neutral alternative to unidentified flying objects. UAP refers to unidentified objects or phenomena observed in the sky that do not have an immediately apparent conventional explanation. Cross-shaped sightings fall under the UAP category, as they remain unexplained by conventional means. Unidentified objects have captured the world's imagination for decades, and sightings of these enigmatic aerial phenomena have been reported in various locations across the globe. Among the most intriguing and well-documented sightings are those that occurred above Jerusalem, the ancient and holy city that holds immense significance for three major world religions. One of the most notable and widely discussed incidents in Jerusalem is the mysterious glowing objects that have been seen all throughout the area. There isn't one specific incident, as travelers and locals have reported seeing these mysterious objects for several decades now. Several eyewitnesses have reported seeing bright lights descending over the Dome of the Rock, a revered Islamic shrine in the heart of Jerusalem's old city. The lights are said to hover briefly before shooting upwards at high speed, disappearing into the night sky. Witnesses who saw the event claim that these objects are genuine and claimed that they saw the incident with their own eyes. Witnesses described them as a glowing orb-like object, emitting a powerful light. Some reported seeing multiple orbs moving in unusual patterns before the main light took off. The Jerusalem incident was not the first reported sighting in the city. There have been other accounts of unidentified objects in the skies above Jerusalem throughout history. Some historians suggest that ancient texts and religious scriptures may contain references to celestial events or beings that could be interpreted as unidentified objects. The Jerusalem incident took place in a city deeply rooted in religious history and symbolism. Consequently, these mysterious sightings above the Dome of the Rock generated intense discussions about the possible theological implications of unidentified objects. Some interpreted the event as a sign from a higher power or a message to humanity. Others viewed it as a reflection of humanity's fascination with the unknown and a reminder of the vastness of the universe. As with many sightings, theories attempting to explain the Jerusalem incident span a wide spectrum. Skeptics propose conventional explanations, such as drones, helicopters, or Chinese lanterns, which are often released during celebrations and can resemble glowing orbs from a distance. The lack of radar evidence or official confirmation from aviation authorities has led some to question the authenticity of the incident. However, proponents of the unidentified object hypothesis point to the consistency of multiple witness accounts and the peculiar flight pattern as evidence supporting the existence of an unidentified object. Despite investigations and analyses, the Jerusalem incident remains an unresolved mystery. Skeptics and believers alike continue to debate its nature and authenticity, illustrating the enduring fascination and allure of unidentified object sightings. The lack of definitive answers regarding the origin and intent of the object allows room for speculation and contemplation. The Jerusalem incident serves as a reminder of humanity's enduring curiosity about the cosmos and the possibility of encountering other intelligent life beyond Earth. The Bible, one of the most revered and influential texts in human history, is rich with stories of divine encounters, celestial phenomena, and awe-inspiring events. Throughout the millennia, scholars, theologians, and enthusiasts have explored various interpretations of these biblical accounts. Among the intriguing possibilities are theories that some of these events could be perceived as early unidentified object sightings. The Nativity story in the Gospel of Matthew recounts the appearance of a mysterious star that guided the three wise men to the birthplace of Jesus Christ. The star's behavior, including its ability to move, stop, and guide the wise men, has sparked speculation about whether it was a celestial object or an unidentified object. Some researchers suggest that the Star of Bethlehem may have been an unidentified object, attributing its unique characteristics to advanced technology. They propose that advanced beings could have used the object to signal or guide the Magi to witness the birth of Jesus. The book of Ezekiel in the Old Testament contains a vision of a wheel within a wheel that the prophet Ezekiel witnessed in the sky. The description of the object, with its appearance of glowing metal and spinning wheels, has led some researchers to interpret it as an unidentified object sighting. Researchers propose that Ezekiel's vision may have been an encounter with an advanced aircraft. They point to similarities between Ezekiel's description and modern accounts, suggesting that the prophet may have witnessed advanced technology beyond his comprehension. Interpreting biblical events as mysterious sightings is a thought-provoking area of study. While mainstream biblical scholarship tends to interpret these events in a religious or metaphorical context, some enthusiasts propose alternative explanations. They suggest that advanced technology or advanced encounters could account for some of the extraordinary events described in the Bible. It is essential to recognize that these interpretations exist alongside diverse perspectives on the Bible's meaning and significance. They add another layer of complexity to the already multifaceted tapestry of human interpretations of sacred texts. The intersection of ancient religious texts raises compelling questions about the mysteries of the universe and the possibility of encountering intelligent life beyond Earth. Whether one embraces these interpretations as a plausible explanation or approaches them with skepticism, they offer a fascinating glimpse into the ways in which human curiosity and imagination continue to engage with ancient mysteries and the enigmatic realm of unidentified objects. A retired Antarctic pilot by the name of John Ingram was presented with an irresistible opportunity. The Antarctic Research Institute invited him back for a special reconnaissance mission over the icy expanse of Antarctica. Intrigued and eager to fly again, he accepted the offer. On a frigid morning, he boarded his old companion, a modified Lockheed C-130 Hercules. The mission was straightforward, to map out some remote regions of Antarctica that satellites had trouble covering. With the seasoned expertise of decades, he piloted the aircraft over the vast, shimmering white landscape. After hours of monotonous icy scenery, a blip on the radar broke the tranquility. It was a mountain, a towering spire of ice and rock, standing solitary amidst the endless white. At its summit was an oddity that puzzled the pilot, a large, perfect circle that radar identified as an opening. He circled around in order to get a better look, his curiosity piqued. The mouth of the cavity was colossal, big enough to fit a football stadium. The pilot estimated the opening was easily over 300 feet in length, big enough to fit a plane inside. Unable to resist the mystery, he decided to descend for a closer look. He expertly maneuvered the aircraft into a daring low-altitude hover, just above the mouth of the mountain. Peering out of the cockpit, he saw the hole wasn't merely an opening. It was an entrance to an expansive cavern, disappearing into the heart of the mountain, shrouded in darkness. Realizing the potential significance of the find, he marked the location on his GPS and took high-resolution photographs. As much as he yearned to explore further, he knew he was not equipped for such an expedition. He ascended back into the sky, his mind racing with possibilities about what could be hidden within the cavern. Upon his return, he presented his findings to the Antarctic Research Institute. The photographs and coordinates sparked an immediate buzz among the researchers. The possibility of an unexplored cavern of such size in Antarctica was an enticing prospect. However, the pilot said that he was told that the discovery wasn't of interest and that an exploration team wouldn't be sent to the location. As the news of the discovery spread, it captivated the team's imagination. Those who knew the pilot said that they eagerly awaited updates on the mysterious hole atop the Antarctic mountain. However, he was told that the discovery wasn't of interest and that no further flights would be made to the mountain. The pilot ended by saying that he still wonders what was inside the cavern that led directly into the mountain. Oddly enough, this isn't the first time that something strange has been found in Antarctica. In the bitter heart of Antarctica, hidden amidst the icy wilderness, is a research station named Aurora Base. It is a scientific outpost tasked with studying the desolate landscape and the hidden secrets of this cold frontier. According to a social media post, one winter, the Aurora team embarked on a new expedition, a journey into the subglacial lakes, which exist under kilometers of ice. Armed with state-of-the-art technology, the team lowered a specialized submersible probe through a borehole in the ice to explore the unseen depths of Lake Vostok. As the probe descended through the ice, its cameras relayed images to the team above. The first signs of life were simple, single-celled organisms. But as Poseidon plunged deeper, it started to transmit pictures of creatures much more complex and bizarre. Creatures that defied the known boundaries of life in such extreme conditions. One such creature was a translucent, bioluminescent entity, nearly 2 meters long, undulating gracefully in the frigid darkness. Its otherworldly glow illuminated its surroundings, and the creature seemed to be covered in a constellation of glowing spots. Biologist Dr. Everson, staring at the live feed in awe, said that it's like a living starfield. In the following days, the underwater probe captured images of other unusual life forms. There were organisms with metallic exoskeletons, creatures resembling prehistoric trilobites but much larger, and swarms of neon-colored microorganisms that glowed beautifully under the probe's lights. Each new discovery was a revelation, a testament to life's tenacity and adaptability in Earth's harshest environment. Word of these astonishing discoveries spread across the base. Soon, every eye was glued to the live feed. Everyone held their breath each time the underwater probe descended, eager to see what strange creature it would uncover next. One evening, it encountered something that brought every heart at the base to a standstill. An enormous shadow loomed over the submersible. As it came into focus, a gigantic creature, unlike anything ever seen before, appeared on the screen. It was a massive creature, easily the length of a whale, but unlike any known marine animal. It had multiple bioluminescent appendages and an intricate pattern of glowing lines along its body, casting an ethereal light in the dark abyss. Stunned by the sight of this gargantuan lifeform, the Aurora team realized they had discovered an ecosystem entirely unknown to science, hidden beneath the ice. It was a humbling experience, reminding them of how much more there was to learn about our planet. In the following months, news of the monsters of Lake Vostok reached every corner of the globe. It sparked a renewed interest in Antarctic exploration and the study of extreme environments. To the scientists at Aurora Base, these strange creatures were a beautiful reminder of nature's infinite ability to surprise and astonish us. The Antarctic ice, once thought to be lifeless, now held a world teeming with strange and remarkable life, shattering our understanding of where life can exist and thrive on Earth. Lake Vostok, located beneath the icy surface of Antarctica, is a vast and intriguing enigma for scientists around the world. A giant freshwater lake buried under more than 4 kilometers of ice, Lake Vostok is a testament to the resiliency of life and its ability to adapt to the most extreme environments. Discovered in the 1990s by Russian scientists, Lake Vostok is named after the Russian research station Vostok, which in turn was named after Vostok, a warship that served in the first Antarctic expedition. The lake is one of the largest subglacial lakes in Antarctica, with a size comparable to that of Lake Ontario. Lake Vostok's discovery resulted from the analysis of airborne radar imaging data, which revealed a vast, flat region beneath the ice. Further seismic and gravitational studies confirmed the presence of a liquid water lake. The most fascinating aspect of this lake is its isolation from the rest of the world. For an estimated 15 million years, Lake Vostok has remained sealed off from the rest of the planet, covered by a thick, impermeable sheet of ice. Due to its extreme conditions and isolation, Lake Vostok provides a unique opportunity for researchers. Any life found here has evolved in complete solitude, presenting an intriguing avenue for the study of microbial evolution and climate change. However, the exploration of Lake Vostok presents substantial challenges. Drilling through kilometers of ice to reach the lake without contaminating its pristine environment is a daunting task. The fear of introducing foreign microbes into the lake's ecosystem has led to stringent protocols around drilling and sample collection. In 2012, after more than 2 decades of careful drilling, Russian scientists successfully reached the lake and extracted water samples. The samples revealed the presence of thousands of microbial life forms, suggesting a complex ecosystem thriving in darkness and extreme cold, completely isolated from the outside world. This discovery was a milestone in astrobiology, as it demonstrated life's capability to endure in conditions previously considered inhospitable. Lake Vostok also holds significant potential for the study of Earth's past climate. The ice layers above the lake form a chronological record of the Earth's climate over the past hundreds of thousands of years. Detailed analysis of these layers can provide valuable insights into historical climate changes and potentially inform predictions for future climate trends. Despite the progress made, many mysteries of Lake Vostok remain unsolved. The full extent of its biodiversity, the potential existence of more complex organisms, and its complete geological profile are just a few of the intriguing questions that continue to pique scientific curiosity. Lake Vostok exemplifies the boundless potential for discovery that lies within our own planet. It stands as a reminder of the adaptability of life, even in the harshest conditions. Furthermore, it offers a unique analogue for extraterrestrial environments, such as the icy moons of Jupiter and Saturn. By studying extreme environments like Lake Vostok, we not only uncover more about life's adaptability on Earth, but also increase our understanding of what kind of life we might find beyond our planet. Antarctica, the southernmost continent and site of the South Pole, is a vast, icy expanse that has fascinated explorers, scientists, and dreamers alike. It represents one of the last frontiers of human exploration on Earth. However, despite our advances in technology and scientific understanding, Antarctica remains a largely unexplored and impenetrable land for several reasons. To begin with, Antarctica's extreme weather conditions pose a substantial challenge. The continent is the coldest place on Earth, with temperatures in the interior dropping below -80 degrees in winter. These frigid conditions can quickly become life-threatening, even with modern cold weather gear and technology. In addition, Antarctica experiences high wind speeds, commonly known as katabatic winds, reaching up to 200 miles per hour, and unpredictable weather changes, making any exploration venture dangerous. The geography of Antarctica also plays a role in its inaccessibility. Over 98% of its surface is covered by ice, which averages 1.9 kilometers in thickness. This thick ice sheet, coupled with its mountainous terrain, crevasses, and ice shelves, makes navigation challenging. Even with GPS technology, the risk of getting lost or falling into a hidden crevasse is high. Transportation to and within Antarctica is another challenge. The continent is remote, with the shortest distance from the tip of South America to the Antarctic Peninsula being about 1,000 kilometers. There are no commercial flights, and most people arrive via icebreaker ships, which can only operate during the summer months when sea ice is at its minimum. Once on the continent, overland travel is slow and fraught with danger due to the aforementioned crevasses and unpredictable weather conditions. Additionally, the environment's fragility and the global community's commitment to preserving it limit human activity and exploration in Antarctica. The Antarctic Treaty System, a series of international agreements, has designated Antarctica as a scientific preserve and bans any military activity, mineral mining, nuclear testing, and nuclear waste disposal. While these measures do not directly prohibit exploration, they severely limit human presence and activity on the continent, mainly restricting it to scientific research. The lack of infrastructure and human support is another impediment to exploring Antarctica. There are no permanent residents, and the population consists only of a rotating crew of scientists and support staff at research stations scattered across the continent. This means there are no hospitals, no search and rescue services, and limited resources to assist if an emergency arises during exploration. Furthermore, Antarctica's isolation leads to psychological challenges. Explorers must deal with prolonged periods of isolation, confined living conditions, extended periods of darkness in winter, and the lack of familiar comforts. These factors can lead to a range of psychological issues, including polar madness or Antarctic syndrome, characterized by irritability, insomnia, and impaired cognition. In the expansive universe with its billions of galaxies, each teeming with countless stars and planets, it seems statistically likely that life, in some form, could exist beyond Earth. This raises a fascinating question. How might extraterrestrial life be attempting to contact us? One conventional method of interstellar communication is the use of radio waves. Humans have been transmitting radio signals into space for over a century and have been listening for signals for several decades. Extraterrestrials advanced enough to understand and use radio technology could be transmitting signals across the cosmos. The vast distances and the relative slowness of radio waves traveling at light speed, however, make this a challenging proposition. Also, our current technology can only detect strong signals, and only from a relatively small portion of the sky. Despite these limitations, radio waves remain our best option for interstellar communication. Interestingly, Eric Hecker, a contractor who was employed at the IceCube Neutrino Observatory located at the Amundsen Scott South Pole Station in Antarctica, between 2010 and 2011, was one of the individuals who exposed the truth about what's going on at the observatory. Eric Hecker not only claimed that the Antarctica station serves as a significant air traffic control center for monitoring human and non-human operated spacecraft, but he also witnessed a potent green laser emanating from the top of this facility. On June 17, 2023, the webcam situated at the Amundsen Scott base recorded a distinct occurrence where a green laser was observed hitting the observatory, with users noting that it happened again on the 16th of July. Lasers, highly focused beams of light, have numerous advantages as a medium for interstellar communication. First, lasers are directional and can maintain their beam's coherence over vast distances, allowing a signal to be sent directly to a targeted location. Second, the high frequency of light waves enables a large bandwidth for data transmission, allowing the delivery of complex information. Third, compared to radio waves, lasers in certain wavelengths can transmit more energy and are less likely to be scattered or absorbed by interstellar medium or Earth's atmosphere. These characteristics make lasers an appealing choice for advanced civilizations trying to communicate over interstellar distances. If such civilizations exist and possess the technological prowess to manipulate lasers as a communication tool, they could be transmitting data-rich signals towards us right now. The challenge, however, lies in detecting such laser signals. We must be directly in the path of the laser beam, and the signal must be within a range of frequencies that we are monitoring. Furthermore, we would need to differentiate it from background noise and natural sources of light, such as stars. In this context, a brief, powerful burst of laser light, sometimes referred to as a laser pulse, could serve as a distinctive beacon, attracting our attention. Some suggested that it might be a directed energy weapon. Directed energy weapons are a transformational addition to the arsenal of modern military and defense organizations. Directed energy weapons, as the name suggests, focus energy in a particular direction to damage or destroy a target. Unlike conventional weapons that rely on kinetic force, DWs employ the use of electromagnetic energy, including lasers, microwaves, particle beams, and even sound, to disable or neutralize threats. Lasers are one of the most recognized forms of directed energy weapons. High-energy lasers can superheat the surface of a target to cause structural damage or detonation. This technology has been tested for missile defense and against unmanned aerial vehicles with significant success. Lasers also have a virtually limitless magazine, as long as power supplies hold out, providing them a substantial advantage over conventional weapons. Interestingly, this isn't the first time that strange lights have been seen above Antarctica. Antarctica, Earth's southernmost continent, is a vast, icy wilderness largely unexplored by humans due to its inhospitable climate. This remoteness, coupled with the continent's intrinsic mystery, has led to numerous speculations, including intriguing reports of unidentified objects. Over the years, there have been numerous accounts of strange phenomena in the Antarctic skies, with some even dating back to the early explorers of the 20th century. Some of the most compelling accounts stem from military and scientific personnel stationed in research facilities in Antarctica. These individuals, often working in isolation, have reported seeing strange lights and unidentified objects that move with extraordinary speed and maneuverability, defying known aviation technology. One account comes from a British Antarctic survey mission in the 1960s. The team reported observing a formation of unidentified objects flying over the South Pole. The objects moved with tremendous speed and then disappeared, leaving the team mystified. One theory for why they appear above Antarctica is that the remoteness of the area provides a perfect cover for unknown earthly activities. The barren, icy landscapes and the absence of civilian populations make it an ideal location for secrecy. Other theories draw from more speculative fields. Some propose that ancient advanced civilizations may have built underground bases in Antarctica, hidden beneath the ice. Others suggest that extraterrestrial beings are attracted to the magnetic anomalies present at the poles. While these theories are fascinating, they lack solid scientific evidence. The harsh environmental conditions make comprehensive exploration and investigation of Antarctica difficult, leaving these sightings largely unverified. It's important to note that most sightings can often be explained through natural or man-made phenomena. Atmospheric conditions, reflection or refraction of light, conventional aircraft, and even high-altitude balloons or drones can cause misinterpretations. Regardless of the explanations, the sightings over Antarctica contribute to the worldwide fascination with unidentified objects. These accounts, shrouded in the icy mystery of the Antarctic wilderness, inspire wonder and provoke thought about what might exist beyond our current understanding. This photo gained widespread attention several years back, as numerous individuals shared it on social media and asserted that it had been taken by a trail camera somewhere in the United States. The story goes that a landowner constantly heard strange sounds on their property during the night, and the noises were unlike any of the animals typically found in the area. The man didn't think much of the sounds until around 2 days later, when he heard one of his goats emitting a loud, high-pitched scream. This prompted him to quickly leave his house and make his way down to where the animals were kept. But once there, he couldn't find his livestock anywhere. As he strolled across his land, he noticed the presence of sizable paw prints scattered throughout the vicinity where he kept his goats. He quickly deduced that some creature was seeking to satisfy its hunger. Due to the goats being in an open area, he was unable to relocate them. Each morning, he would find his once thriving livestock in disarray, chickens missing, cows agitated, and strange tracks in the mud that seemed too large for any known animal. Concerned for his livestock, he decided to take action. One night, he stayed awake, keeping watch over his farm. As the day turned to night, he heard a low growl in the distance, and although the sound made him nervous, he knew he had to confront whatever lurked in the shadows. With a light in hand, he ventured into the darkness. The moon's light barely penetrated the thick canopy of trees, leaving him to rely on the dim glow of his torch to guide him. He followed the chilling howls, which seemed to grow louder with each step. As he approached the edge of the forest, the hairs on the back of his neck stood on end. Fear washed over him, but he stood his ground, determined to protect his animals. The creature didn't come out from the forest, but he was determined to capture it. The farmer set up a trail camera close to his livestock, knowing that once the creature approached, it would set off the trail camera's sensor. After setting up the camera and patiently waiting for several nights, a similar incident occurred where one of the goats was taken. But this time the trail camera successfully recorded something. After examining it, he was puzzled about what type of creature this was. He initially thought that it was a wolf, but those who saw it suggested that it could have been a dogman. Despite the controversy surrounding its authenticity, those who have viewed the image firmly believe it to be one of the clearest depictions of the dogman to date. The mysterious dogman, often described as a canine-like humanoid, has captured the imaginations of people worldwide, inspiring tales of fear and fascination. The roots of the dogman legend can be traced back to ancient civilizations that held beliefs in shape-shifting creatures. In various cultures, tales of half-human, half-animal beings have persisted throughout history. The concept of a canine-human hybrid can be found in folklore, mythology, and religious traditions in different parts of the world. In modern times, the dogman legend gained prominence in North America, particularly in the upper Midwest region of the United States, where numerous reported sightings have been recorded. Michigan, in particular, has become a hotbed for dogman stories, with its own unique twist on the legend. Descriptions of the dogman vary, but common elements include a creature with the body of a man and the head of a wolf or dog. Witnesses often recount encounters with a tall bipedal creature, covered in fur, and possessing powerful canine features, such as sharp teeth and glowing eyes. Sightings of the dogman have been reported in rural and wooded areas, where it is said to roam in the darkness, striking fear into the hearts of those who cross its path. Witnesses speak of the creature's speed, agility, and eerie ability to disappear into the shadows. The dogman has become a cultural icon, inspiring a vast array of artistic representations, music, literature, and films. From campfire tales to best-selling novels, the legend has permeated popular culture, capturing the imagination of generations. One reason for the Dogman's appeal is its association with primal fears and archetypal symbols. The wolf, as a predator and symbol of the untamed wilderness, has long held a place in human mythology and psyche. The Dogman embodies our age-old fascination with the mysteries of the wild and the blurred boundary between the human and animal realms. The study of animals whose existence has not been proven often investigates the claims of Dogman sightings. While some researchers remain open-minded, others approach the subject with skepticism, attributing sightings to misidentifications of known animals, hoaxes, or hallucinations. The lack of verifiable evidence, such as clear photographs or physical remains, raises doubts among mainstream scientists and biologists. The Dogman's mythological status and lack of scientific evidence contribute to the controversy surrounding its existence. The power of folklore lies in its ability to shape perceptions and beliefs. Cultural influences, such as media portrayals and urban legends, play a significant role in perpetuating the Dogman legend. Stories of unexplained phenomena and mysterious encounters have been passed down through generations, further enhancing the creature's mystique. Beyond its mysterious nature, the Dogman has also been interpreted as a symbol of the unknown and the untamed aspects of human nature. It represents our primal instincts, our connection to the natural world, and the mysteries that lie beyond our understanding. There exists a fascinating chronicle of recorded sightings that spans different regions and cultures. One of the most famous and well-documented cases of Dogman sightings originates from the state of Michigan in the United States. The legend of the Michigan Dogman gained prominence in the late 1980s, when a popular radio jingle describing the creature became a cultural phenomenon. However, long before the radio jingle, there were reports of encounters with a similar creature in the area. Sightings of the Michigan Dogman have been reported across the state, particularly in rural and wooded regions. Witnesses often describe a tall bipedal creature with canine features, sharp teeth, and glowing eyes. The creature is said to possess incredible speed and agility, making it challenging to capture evidence of its existence. In southeastern Wisconsin, a creature known as the Beast of Bray Road has garnered attention for its resemblance to the Dogman. Sightings of this creature date back to the 1980s and continue to be reported to this day. Witnesses describe a wolf-like being, standing upright on two legs, often observed crossing roads or peering into windows of houses. The Beast of Bray Road has sparked considerable interest among paranormal investigators, leading to numerous investigations and documentaries exploring the legend. The legend of the Dogman is not confined to modern sightings alone. It has deep roots in Native American folklore. Various indigenous tribes across North America have their own accounts of similar creatures, often regarded as guardians of the wilderness or protectors of sacred sites. These stories, passed down through generations, offer a unique cultural perspective on the enduring myth of the Dogman. Beyond North America, accounts of encounters with similar creatures can be found in other parts of the world. In Europe, for example, legends of werewolves and shapeshifters bear similarities to the Dogman lore. While skeptics argue that these sightings are products of cultural influence and psychological factors, believers point to the consistency of descriptions and the sheer number of reported encounters as evidence of the creature's existence. Deep in the heart of southeastern Wisconsin, a chilling legend has captured the imaginations of locals and intrigued cryptid enthusiasts for decades: the Beast of Bray Road. The legend of the Beast of Bray Road finds its roots in rural Wisconsin, with the small town of Elkhorn at its epicenter. In the late 1980s, reports began to emerge of an unusual creature roaming the rural countryside, particularly along Bray Road, a desolate stretch flanked by dense forests and farmland. The legend was popularized by a newspaper article written by Linda Godfrey, a local journalist, in 1991. In her article, Godfrey recounted multiple sightings of a werewolf-like creature reported by residents in the area. This article acted as a catalyst, drawing attention to the cryptid and solidifying its place in American folklore. Witnesses to the Beast of Bray Road describe a creature standing between 5 and 7 feet tall, covered in thick, dark fur, with the face and head resembling that of a wolf. The creature is said to possess glowing amber eyes and powerful clawed hands, Many of the reported sightings describe the beast walking on two legs, a characteristic shared with other mysterious creatures, such as the Dogman and the infamous Michigan Dogman. Some witnesses claim to have observed the beast on all fours, running with incredible speed and agility. One of the earliest documented sightings of the beast dates back to 1936, when a young man named Mark Shackleman reported an encounter with a werewolf on Bray Road. Shackleman's account remained obscure until the 1980s, when Godfrey's article brought renewed interest to the legend. In the 1990s, several other residents stepped forward with their own encounters, further fueling the mystery. Some witnesses claimed to have seen the beast crossing the road, while others spoke of eerie howls and unexplained sounds emanating from the surrounding woods. The notoriety of the Beast of Bray Road prompted investigations from enthusiasts. Linda Godfrey herself took an active interest in the creature and conducted extensive research, documenting numerous reports and exploring potential explanations for the sightings. Various theories have been put forth to explain the beast's existence. Some researchers suggest that the sightings could be misidentifications of known animals, such as wolves or large dogs. Others propose the idea of a previously unknown species, a surviving relic of prehistoric times, or even a shape-shifting entity. The Beast of Bray Road has left a lasting impact on the culture of southeastern Wisconsin. The legend has become a part of local folklore, inspiring books, documentaries, and community events centered around the creature. The beast's influence extends beyond the region, featuring in pop culture references, TV shows, and movies. The legend of the Beast of Bray Road continues to attract enthusiasts and tourists to the area, hoping for a glimpse of the elusive creature or seeking to explore the lore that surrounds it. Psychologists and sociologists offer intriguing insights into the phenomenon of sightings, including the Beast of Bray Road. Some argue that folklore and urban legends can act as collective expressions of societal fears and anxieties. As of right now, the Beast of Bray Road remains an enduring enigma in American folklore. With a history spanning decades and numerous reported sightings, the legend has become deeply embedded in local culture and the broader community. While skeptics question the existence of the beast and attribute sightings to misidentifications or imagination, the allure of the unknown continues to captivate the human mind. The Beast of Bray Road represents an enduring fascination with cryptids and a testament to the timeless appeal of mystery and wonder in our world. As long as the legend persists, the Beast of Bray Road will continue to haunt the collective consciousness of southeastern Wisconsin and serve as a reminder of the enduring allure of the unknown. Whether the beast is a product of folklore, a genuine cryptid, or something else entirely, its legend has etched itself into the annals of American folklore, a testament to the unyielding desire to explore the unexplained in the human psyche. The United States government has acknowledged the existence of unidentified flying objects, but their stance and level of knowledge about them is not entirely clear. Back in June 2021, the United States government released a report on unidentified aerial phenomena, which is the new term used to describe these mysterious aircrafts. The report, issued by the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, stated that there were 144 reports of unidentified aerial phenomena from 2004 to 2021, with only one of them having an identifiable explanation. As of right now, though, officials haven't released any more information on this topic, leading amateur researchers to suggest that they're not giving away all of the answers and that they're holding on to substantial evidence which could prove once and for all what these objects are. Going back a few years ago, a man overheard two security guards talking, and they detailed that in the early hours of the morning, something was being transported out of Edwards Air Force Base. He overheard the guards say that the object would be transported at around 1:30 in the morning, and so he decided to wait in his car to see what the Air Force Base was transporting. The man reported that in the distance he could see a police car with its lights on, and behind it were several other police cars escorting a large truck. The man said that he couldn't believe what he was seeing, and that the object on the back of the truck appeared to be in the shape of a disc. Many said that the man was brave for doing this, and that he may have caught genuine proof of a mysterious aircraft. Although the man was able to follow the military guards and capture proof of this encounter, others said that he was lucky not to have been spotted, and suggested that if he was caught by officers, then he may have been given a prison sentence. Oddly enough, although the man was able to capture clear photographs of an aircraft in the shape of a disc, some online users came forward and said that it wasn't an unidentified aircraft and was actually an aircraft that belonged to the United States Navy. The aircraft in question is called the X-46B. According to military websites, the project was funded under a $635 million contract, which was awarded to the United States Navy in 2007. By January 2012, the total program cost had grown to over $800 million. The aircraft certainly looks futuristic, but according to military insiders, the program had a rough start, and not long after being awarded the program, it was soon scrapped in favor of a less stealthy aircraft. Interestingly, various military bases have been home to strange encounters, which have led former military workers to come forward with their strange encounters. One such event happened at the Edwards Air Force Base. Edwards Air Force Base sits amid the dusty plains of the Mojave Desert, home to the Earth's hottest place, Death Valley, where temperatures fluctuate from scorching hot in the summer to freezing cold in the winter. The desert is a hostile and dangerous place, but it's also one of America's most fascinating places for a number of reasons. Geographically, the area is unique. Furthermore, the first space shuttle mission, Columbia, landed at Edwards on its return to Earth in April 1981. However, there's a reason much more relevant to this video as to why we're taking a look at the base. Edwards Air Force Base, by location and the majority of its purpose, is just a regular military installation, but it also serves a joint purpose. The base essentially controls activities at the nearby Homey Airport, an area that in recent years has become synonymous with strange activity. One would imagine that some strange things must be seen late at night, that far out in the desert, surrounded by nothing but open air and dusty expanses. One night in 1965, an air traffic controller at the base had a strange encounter with what he believed was an aircraft in the shape of a disc. In 1965, Edwards, like US Air Force bases all over the country, were on high alert for suspicious activity in the skies. Tension with the Soviet Union was mounting, and the most shocking thing that radar controllers in the Nevada desert could have seen back then would have been a Russian aircraft. However, the objects that appeared above the base, apparently flying very high and very fast, appeared in sets of 7 to 12 and looked like pulsating lights against the night sky. However, the controllers couldn't be sure of what they'd seen, and as a precaution, a fighter jet was scrambled from the nearby George Air Force Base. Yet, the strange lights continued to climb into the night sky, far outpacing the fighter jet. Controllers noted that the craft seemed to simply fade away into space, becoming one of the stars. The thing about the Edwards incident is that the eyewitness reports were credible, so the crew at the base most definitely did see something that night. It's just not clear what it was that they saw. We don't know what sort of threat, or how bad a threat these mysterious aircrafts posed, but when the evidence was released only about 15 years ago, people realized that the government had gone to great lengths at the time to cover up these sorts of incidents. These mysterious aircrafts have been a thing of immense fascination across the world for thousands of years, but Americans were amongst the first to take a continued interest in the phenomena. And when multiple soldiers, those who we trust with keeping us safe, are left confused and ultimately convinced by their own sightings, you can't help but think that there might be something else out there. These are just a few examples of what military officials have encountered, and there's definitely no shortage of these types of stories. It's interesting when we hear about these types of sightings that have been witnessed by everyday people, but when military officials come forward and share their stories, they seem more credible. This is because these are the people that work around these areas on a daily basis, so they are used to seeing military equipment on a daily basis. No matter what your thoughts surrounding these incidents, one thing that can't be ignored is that there are only two possible conclusions to make when it comes to repeated UFO sightings: either a truth within the story or false. The United Kingdom is no stranger to these mysterious aircrafts, and since the early 1980s, there have been various mass sightings of strange aircrafts that don't match vehicles such as planes or helicopters. Described as one of the strangest aerial sightings ever made, bordering on the theory of being a possible religious experience, is that of the well-recorded incident referred to by researchers as the Devon flying cross sighting. While officers Roger Willey and Clifford Walcott were making their way back to the police station, driving from Holsworthy to Hatherley at around 4 in the morning, They were diverted from their investigation when they spotted a series of floating lights in the sky that seemed to group together and take on the shape of a cross. According to the two officers, the sighting took place on the 24th of October back in 1967 and have yet to find an adequate explanation for what they encountered. The now retired officers recounted the following statement surrounding the incident. "We were making our way back between Holsworthy and Hatherley when we saw this unusual bright light in the sky. We both registered that we'd seen something. It was something we couldn't logically account for. It was something that I hadn't seen before, I haven't seen since, and something that nobody can explain exactly what it was." The two officers described the craft as a bright object in the shape of a cross, hovering slightly above the height of the tree line roughly 40 meters from where their car was parked. Unsure of what action would be most appropriate to take, the two officers began to pursue the lights, which began to pulsate for about 15 minutes while flying away from their car, still following the path of the road at about the speed of 80 miles per hour. It was at this point that the officers got a clear look at the lights, only to notice that something was off about their appearance. The two officers both described that the lights seemed to have been continually out of focus of their eyes, and said that it was as if they were viewing this object through wet glass. Roger provided a later statement describing the lights as they followed them for this 15-minute period. He said the following: "My view of it was that it was moving slowly. It wasn't a star, it was bright, and it was white. If you look at glass which has got rain on, it was the same sort of inference. It was a splash. It was just eerie." As Roger and Clifford continued following the craft, according to their witness account, at about 4:23 in the morning, the cross was joined by a second flying object that appeared to join the shape. It was also at this point that a third witness would enter the scene, a man by the name of Mr. Christopher Garner, a local resident of Hatherley, who also began to follow the light while driving down the same road. According to Christopher Garner, he originally believed that he was stuck in some kind of trance as the object passed overhead, unsure of what was real and what wasn't, recounting that the entire experience left him questioning whether or not he was experiencing a nightmare. This nightmare would not last for very long, however, as after the distance of 14 miles were passed, the object would fade away and seem to disappear in an instant, with no sign of the lights or the cross being anywhere nearby. The sighting was believed to have lasted from 4 in the morning to about 5 in the morning. Unfortunately for the men involved, this would not mark the end of this strange and otherworldly incident. Shortly following their sighting, officers Roger and Clifford claimed to have been approached by the British Ministry of Defence for the purpose of an ongoing investigation into the unidentified aircraft phenomenon, as well as warning them about coming forward with their encounter. Roger would later provide the following comment to the BBC national media. "We were visited by a boffin from the Ministry of Defence who told us that we were still officers under the Official Secrets Acts, and they would rather we kept it to ourselves." Fortunately for researchers interested in the unknown, this approach from the British Ministry of Defence would do very little to discourage Officer Roger, Clifford, and motorist Christopher Garner from going to the news media and reporting their encounter. When reports investigated the claims surrounding the strange intimidation tactic taken by the British Ministry of Defence, they would provide the explanation that they were doing their own research into the claims made by the three men and found them to be entirely baseless, providing the additional explanation that the sighting was nothing more than a misidentification of Venus in the sky. This explanation would be put into question, however, as throughout that same month, numerous additional sightings of a flying cross would be seen all throughout the Devon region. Additionally, during the late 2000s, slowly released documents from the British National Archives would tell a different story, when unclassified documents would be uncovered surrounding the Devon flying cross encounter, believing the sighting to have been a genuine mysterious aircraft, directly contradicting the public statement made by the Ministry of Defence during 1967 surrounding the incident. NASA's chief Bill Nelson has said that NASA continues its search for life in the universe. NASA has been at the forefront of space exploration, sending humans into space and launching probes to the edges of our solar system. Each year we learn new things about the universe that we live in, helping us to better understand what could be out there. Interestingly, Bill Nelson has been vocal about mysterious aircrafts and has shown a continued interest in their capabilities and where they're coming from. One of the most recent announcements to come from them was that national security agencies are well aware of these objects, but noted that as each new report comes in, new questions are raised, and the majority of the time these questions never get answered. These national security agencies have admitted that many of these aircrafts seem to have the ability to perform maneuvers that are highly advanced. According to one study that was released by top intelligence officials, they reported that in total, over 500 unidentified aircrafts had been observed in protected airspace or near sensitive facilities. The report was submitted to United States officials, and those in Congress and also the Director of National Intelligence have said that further studies are needed and that we need to better understand what these aircrafts are. One of the positives that comes from these reports is there's been a reduced stigma. For years, anyone showing interest in this topic would usually be dismissed, but because high-up military officials, soldiers, pilots, and former intelligence members have come forward with their testimonies, the topic has since been taken more seriously, and now even NASA is getting involved in these studies, saying that they are working with military officials to help aid where they can. Due to the amount of sightings that are reported every year, along with the hundreds of thousands of declassified documents that have been submitted by government officials, it's led some to say that perhaps this whole time, intelligent life has been right under our noses. Mysterious aircrafts have long been a hot topic, with some believing that the crafts are genuine, while others have said that they can be easily explained as everyday things like planes and military aircrafts. Ideas for what these are range from advanced crafts sent from other worlds, advanced probes that may be looking out for other life forms, or even that these things are forms of higher intelligence, and that as of right now we can't understand their workings. Bill Nelson, who is NASA's newest administrator, has said that he wants to get to the bottom of what these things are, saying that NASA will actively research this topic in order to help give a definitive answer for what they are. He openly said that the reports by military officials have caught the interest of scientists worldwide, and that their goal is to try and further research this topic in order to better understand what eyewitnesses have been seeing. These comments have divided people. NASA has never been open to the idea of mysterious aircrafts, actively going out of its way to shoot down any ideas that these crafts are genuine, which has frustrated those who have looked into the phenomena. But some have said that this could be a good chance for the company to be more open-minded about this topic, with many saying that it's clear that something is going on, noting that military pilots have been encountering these aircrafts for years now, and that it's only been in the last few years that people are starting to open up to the idea of these aircrafts being genuine. Recent reports showed us that out of hundreds of sightings of mysterious aircrafts that were reported by pilots, only one of these could be explained. It's due to this that people are hoping that NASA can shine a light on what these things are, and that it may usher us into a new era where we become more open-minded. Those who are heavily invested in the topic have said that it's good that a high-up NASA official has acknowledged these aircrafts, and hope that we can get an answer in the near future for what these things are. Bill Nelson said the following about the sightings made by United States Navy pilots. "I have received the classified version as well. I've seen the report. It said basically what we thought, and that's that we don't know the answer for what those Navy pilots saw, and those Navy pilots knew that they saw something. They tracked it, locked their radar onto it, and they followed it. It would suddenly move from one location to another, and what the report does tell us is that there's been over 140 of these sightings. So naturally, what I ask our scientists to do is to see if there's any kind of explanation from a scientific point of view, and as of right now, I'm waiting for their report." He was then asked about his feelings about what he thought they were, and if he could explain them. He said the following: "I talked to the Navy pilots when we were briefed in the Senate Armed Services Committee, and my feeling is that there is clearly something there. It may not necessarily be an extraterrestrial, but if it's a technology that some of our adversaries have, then we better be concerned. When it comes to the universe, it's so large that we have a program in NASA called the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, but thus far, we don't have any receipt of communication from something that would be intelligent." The next question the reporter asked Bill Nelson was, "Do you think this report is just going to create more anxiety and theories around this topic? People want an explanation, and people want to know what these things are." He responded with the following: "Ever since the Navy pilot video came out, people are hungry to know, and they want to know what's out there in the cosmos. Are we alone? Personally, I don't think that we are. The universe is so big, it's 13.5 billion years ago when the universe started. But people are hungry for this kind of information, and we're going to keep on searching. Many people found these comments interesting, as NASA hasn't really been vocal about the topic of mysterious crafts, and when they have been asked questions, they usually just shut them down immediately. But people gave praise to Bill Nelson as it came across that he has a much more open mind. One of the things that people picked up on was the fact that he said the United States is very advanced and that he doesn't think that other countries have this type of technology. The question then put forward is, who owns these things? If the biggest powerhouse on the planet has admitted that it isn't them, and even officials are saying that they don't have this type of technology, then who do they belong to? One of the issues with this is that there's many different theories floating around at the moment, and people have found it strange how these officials are suddenly changing their tune. After all, governments and space agencies have never been vocal about these mysterious crafts, but all of a sudden they are claiming that they don't know what these objects are. There's some who speculated that it's got to the point that they have to be honest, while others have said that they may have a motive of their own, with some noting that whenever this topic gets brought up, it's shortly followed by the military asking for a much bigger budget. NASA is still prioritizing their missions, which look for signs of life. Going back, NASA's then chief scientist Ellen Stofan claimed that by 2025, scientists will most likely discover prominent signs of life somewhere in the universe, saying that all of the data that NASA have gathered point towards us making a big discovery sometime in the near future. This announcement was made while she was speaking at a panel discussion, which heavily focused on NASA's search for habitable worlds. She said the following: "I think we're going to have strong indications of life beyond Earth within a decade, and I think we're going to have definitive evidence within 20 to 30 years. We know where to look. We know how to look. In most cases, we have the technology, and we're on a path to implementing it, and so I think we're definitely on the road." NASA's Space Telescope was retired in 2018, but during its mission, it revealed to scientists that pretty much every star in the sky hosts planets, many of which could have similar conditions to Earth. Just because other planets aren't as similar to Earth, though, it doesn't mean that they can't host life. Researchers have been open about this discussion and have said that when it comes to the universe, it could be filled with weird and wonderful life forms, many of which may not look like anything that we have here on Earth. Paul Hertz, who is director of NASA's Astrophysics Division, described the Milky Way galaxy as being a soggy place. He said the following: "We can see water in the interstellar clouds from which planetary systems and stellar systems form. We can see water in the disks of debris that are going to become planetary systems around other stars, and we can even see comets being dissipated in other solar systems as their star evaporates them. Scientists have now said that we should be focusing on exoplanets. Many of these exoplanets that have been detected are planets with thick and heavy atmospheres that are abundant with hydrogen, which allows for oceans to exist and flourish even under immense amounts of heat. This is the name given to the mini-Neptunes that match the description of potential life-having planets. These planets tend to be fully composed of water with no continents, and often have permanent mist rising from the heated waters. Further research into exoplanets may reveal the truth to us within the next handful of years, as we develop and establish what we truly mean by habitable. Another scientist from the University of Montreal claims that we, as a species, have far too high expectations, saying that there may be other ways of finding other life that are not dinosaurs crawling around on the surface. Even though it is not the easiest thing to do, these mini-Neptunes can be tested. There are countless mini-Neptunes in space, and based on their positions and surroundings, we will be able to correctly guess whether they have a chance at being habitable or not. According to scientists, even if only 5% of the mini-Neptune match the requirements, it would still give scientists an incredible number of planets to investigate. Dr. Niku Madasun from Cambridge's Institute of Astronomy said the following: "This result greatly expands our chances of finding life. By using the host star, astronomers are able to estimate the mass of an exoplanet to determine whether it is made of gas or rock, but it is near impossible to determine whether it has a solid or gas core. However, in 2019, thanks to the Hubble Space Telescope, astronomers were able to glimpse into the atmosphere of K2-18b, one of these mini-Neptunes, and discovered evidence of clouds and water vapor. Furthermore, just recently it was announced that there is a possibility that one of these planets could have enough water to sustain earthly life. in Dr. Niku's words. For the first time, we demonstrated that planets can be significantly larger than Earth and still have livable conditions. The desired outcome for astronomers is to find an Earth-like planet on which we could thrive, to find the ideal Earth twin, which, unfortunately, is much easier said than done, considering this planet would have to be around the same mass as Earth, the same size, orbit, and neither too far from the host star, as the oceans would freeze, or too close for the oceans would boil. While exoplanets in the cosmos could surely have Earth-like life on them, scientists have stated it is best not to assume that these planets' conditions will be suitable for humans. Currently, the task is to find alien life, not to find another suitable habitat for ourselves. These mini-Neptunes are an in-between being a gas giant and a dwarf, small versions of our huge icy planets. Unfortunately, as mini-Neptunes are far from us, we have not yet developed a way to study them up close, thus shrouding them in mystery. The mysterious world of unidentified objects has long captivated the human imagination, sparking debates and speculation about potential visitations and advanced technologies. Anonymous is a loosely organized online collective of activists, hackers, and individuals who seek to promote various causes through online actions and hacktivism. The group is composed of individuals who remain anonymous, often using pseudonyms or masks to avoid identification. While Anonymous is not an official organization with a central leadership structure, its members collaborate through internet forums, encrypted channels, and social media platforms. Anonymous's interest in unidentified object sightings stems from its commitment to exploring mysteries and uncovering hidden truths. Many members of the collective share a fascination with unexplained phenomena and feel that mainstream institutions often overlook or dismiss legitimate sightings. Anonymous investigates mysterious sightings through a crowdsourced approach. Members collaborate to collect and analyze eyewitness testimonies, photographs, videos, and other pieces of evidence related to unidentified sightings. Online platforms, such as the Anonymous message board and social media channels, serve as conduits for sharing and discussing related information. The collective encourages whistleblowers and witnesses to come forward anonymously, as their safety and privacy are paramount. After the recent UAP hearing, Anonymous commented that we should explore the Vatican's archives. The Vatican Archives, located within the Vatican City, is one of the world's most enigmatic and closely guarded repositories of historical documents. Spanning over 12 centuries, the archives house an extensive collection of manuscripts, papal bulls, correspondence, and other valuable materials from various periods of history. There is increasing pressure on the Vatican to disclose any information regarding its awareness of the retrieval of an unidentified object in Italy during the 1930s. This comes amidst numerous allegations surrounding the United States government's knowledge and management of interactions with advanced life. David Grush, a former employee of the National Reconnaissance Office and a veteran of the US Air Force, asserted in a June interview that an unidentified object was discovered near Milan in 1933 and later came under the possession of the United States with assistance from the Papal State. One of the individuals who provided testimony to the House Oversight Committee was referred to as the whistleblower. During the hearing, he reiterated his previous assertion that the US government has possessed knowledge of non-human actions dating back to the 1930s. The Department of Defense and NASA have publicly emphasized that they lack any evidence of extraterrestrial existence or a government initiative to analyze advanced materials. During the interview, he asserted that during the reign of the fascist leader Benito Mussolini, the Italian government obtained an unidentified object and relocated it to a protected airbase for the duration of his rule. Grush claimed that former Pope Pius XII possessed secret information about the unidentified object, which was later acquired by the United States. When directly inquired about whether he was suggesting that the Catholic Church had knowledge of advanced life, Grush replied affirmatively. News outlets reported that it had been making efforts for a week to obtain a public statement from the Vatican on the issue at hand. Unfortunately, they have not received a response yet. Ross Coulthart, a journalist who spoke with Grush before the congressional hearing, shared with news networks that he had received confirmation of the story from other undisclosed sources. He also speculated that the Vatican's lack of response could potentially indicate the credibility of the claim. It presents a challenging dilemma for the Vatican as it confronts Mr. Grusch's claims, which appear to be accurate according to Ross Coulthart's sources. Admitting such allegations without the agreement of the United States would pose significant difficulties for the Vatican. The existence of advanced life presents a nuanced theological dilemma for the Catholic Church. According to Catholic doctrine, humans were intentionally created as intelligent beings by God and maintain a unique relationship with Him through Jesus Christ. However, this viewpoint does not exclude the possibility that another intelligent life form could also have a similar connection with God. In 2008, Father José Funes, a Jesuit who was serving as the director of the Vatican Observatory at the time, stated to the official newspaper of the Vatican that he believed faith and the existence of extraterrestrial brothers were not in conflict with one another. Drawing on the Vatican's historical trial of Galileo as a heretic for his belief in a heliocentric universe, it is remarkable to see the progress the Vatican has made in embracing science over the past 4 centuries. Coulthart mentioned having a conversation with an individual who had been given permission to access the vast underground archives of the Vatican. These archives consist of 50 miles of shelving, and Coulthart hinted that certain documents supporting Grusch's assertions might be discovered there, but only a privileged few are allowed entry. According to a statement from DoD spokesperson Sue Guff, the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office has found no credible evidence to support the assertions that there have been, or currently are, any programs related to the acquisition or reverse engineering of advanced materials. The Department of Defense acknowledges the significance of public interest in unidentified aerial phenomena, and she said that the DoD is fully dedicated to transparency and responsibility towards the American public, while also recognizing the need to safeguard sensitive information, sources, and methodologies. Despite the claims made in the testimony of witnesses, scientists who possess knowledge in the field of advanced life have maintained a skeptical stance. However, they haven't completely dismissed the possibility and are willing to consider it further, although they emphasize the absence of substantial evidence presented during the hearing. The Vatican Archives houses an unparalleled collection of documents, stretching back to the 8th century. The vast holdings include papal bulls, conciliar decrees, apostolic letters, and other official communications from various popes throughout history. These documents provide insights into religious, political, cultural, and social aspects of past centuries, making the Vatican Archives a crucial resource for historical research. Additionally, the archives contain diplomatic correspondence, records of past conclaves, and documents pertaining to the Vatican's relationship with various countries. As a result, the archives serve not only as a testament to the history of the Roman Catholic Church, but also as a source of information on the broader historical and geopolitical landscape of Europe and beyond. For centuries, the Vatican Archives maintained a reputation for secrecy and limited access. Only a select few Vatican officials had permission to enter, and access to specific documents was heavily restricted. This approach to secrecy raised intrigue and speculation about the archive's hidden contents, fueling numerous theories over the years. Despite the opening of certain sections of the archives, the Vatican Archives still hold an air of mystery, shrouded in speculation about hidden secrets and controversial historical records. Some of the most intriguing questions involve the potential existence of documents related to the Knights Templar and the Inquisition. Theories surrounding the Vatican Archives have flourished in popular culture and literature. However, it is essential to distinguish between reality and fiction, as the archives are not a secretive organization with malicious intentions. The majority of the contents are historical and religious in nature, offering valuable insights into the history of the Catholic Church and the broader world. This man claims that he caught a glitch in the Matrix. The video starts with the Pope ending his speech at the Vatican. However, as he's turning around, he suddenly vanishes, which causes the screen to swap to another camera. The man who originally found this footage said that it's hard to see, and it's not until you view it frame by frame that you notice that he suddenly vanishes. Oddly enough, this isn't the first time that something like this has happened, And although some have said that it's likely a camera glitch, it's caused others to suggest that this could have been a hologram. In the digital age, the term glitch has become synonymous with technical malfunctions and errors. However, the phrase "a glitch in the matrix" transcends its digital connotation, entering the realm of popular culture and philosophical musings. Coined from the 1999 film The Matrix, this expression has evolved to signify peculiar and unexplainable anomalies in reality that challenge our understanding of existence. In the science fiction film The Matrix, the term glitch in the matrix is used to describe unexplained anomalies or disturbances in the simulated reality inhabited by humans. Within the context of the movie's plot, humanity lives in a computer-generated virtual world, the Matrix, while their physical bodies remain enslaved in a dystopian reality controlled by artificial intelligence. A glitch refers to an abnormality or inconsistency in the simulated reality, suggesting that something is not as it should be. Beyond its cinematic origins, the expression has transcended the boundaries of fiction to describe real-life experiences that appear surreal or inexplicable. In contemporary discourse, people use the term to refer to strange coincidences and other seemingly improbable occurrences that evoke the sense of living in a simulated or glitched reality. The phrase "a glitch in the matrix" has profound existential and philosophical implications. It prompts individuals to question the nature of reality and the limits of human perception. The idea that reality might be an elaborate simulation challenges traditional notions of existence and raises age-old philosophical questions about the nature of consciousness and the external world. If reality is merely a simulation, then what constitutes true existence? How do we discern between reality and illusion? These profound inquiries challenge the very foundation of our understanding of the self and the universe. Quantum mechanics, the branch of physics that governs the behavior of subatomic particles, introduces the idea of uncertainty and probabilistic nature at the fundamental level of reality. Quantum mechanics suggests that particles exist in a superposition of states until observed, raising the question of whether reality is inherently indeterminate until perceived. The idea of a glitch in the matrix draws parallels with the uncertainty principle, which posits that we cannot precisely measure both the position and momentum of a particle simultaneously. The very act of observation affects the outcome, blurring the lines between reality and observer. The phenomenon of déjà vu, often associated with a glitch in the matrix, further challenges our understanding of reality and consciousness. Déjà vu occurs when an individual feels a strong sense of familiarity with a situation they believe to be encountering for the first time. While scientists offer neurological explanations for this phenomenon, the experience raises questions about the nature of time, memory, and the continuity of consciousness. Additionally, optical illusions and perceptual distortions demonstrate how easily our brains can be tricked into perceiving something that is not there. These glitches in perception remind us of the limitations of our senses and the subjective nature of reality. This idea has gained traction in recent years, with prominent figures like Elon Musk suggesting the likelihood of humanity living in a simulation created by advanced civilizations. While the simulated reality hypothesis remains speculative and lacks empirical evidence, it fuels discussions about the nature of reality, the existence of higher beings or entities, and the possibility of parallel universes. The idea that our world might be a simulation, akin to a complex computer program, has gained traction in modern philosophical and scientific discourse. Propelled by advances in technology and theoretical inquiries, this provocative hypothesis posits that we might be living in a simulated reality created by advanced beings or entities. The notion that reality might be a simulated construct is not a new concept. It echoes ancient philosophical inquiries about the nature of existence and the external world. For example, Plato's allegory of the cave describes individuals confined in a cave, perceiving only shadows on the wall cast by objects outside. These shadows represent their reality, analogous to a simulated environment where one's perception shapes their experience of reality. Advancements in technology have propelled the notion of living in a simulated reality into the forefront of modern discussions. Philosopher Nick Bostrom's simulation argument is a seminal work that has stimulated much debate on this topic. Bostrom's argument postulates that one of the following three scenarios is likely. Advanced civilizations do not have the capability or desire to create simulated realities. Advanced civilizations have the capacity to create simulated realities, but choose not to do so. We are living in a simulated reality created by an advanced civilization. Bostrom suggests that the third scenario, where we are living in a simulation, is the most probable. His reasoning stems from the idea that technologically advanced civilizations are likely to develop the capability to create vast simulations, and if even a fraction of these civilizations choose to do so, there would be an overwhelming number of simulated worlds compared to the one real world. The simulation hypothesis raises profound questions about the nature of consciousness and reality. If our world is a simulation, what constitutes consciousness within the simulated entities? Are these simulated beings sentient and self-aware in the same way as their creators? Additionally, the concept of a simulated world challenges our perception of reality and the distinction between the real and the simulated. If the experiences within a simulation are indistinguishable from those of the real world, then the notion of authenticity becomes blurred. As such, the very distinction between real and simulated reality loses its significance. Critics argue that the simulation hypothesis faces challenges related to the vastness of the observable universe. The universe, as observed by astronomers and cosmologists, appears to be boundless and evolving in complexity. Creating a simulated reality that accurately models the entire observable universe would require computational power beyond the reach of current technology. However, proponents of the hypothesis contend that the simulated reality need not encompass the entire observable universe. Instead, the simulation could be localized to a specific region, such as our solar system, or even just our planet, while the rest of the cosmos remains beyond the simulation's scope. This approach could reconcile the vastness of the observable universe with the plausibility of simulation. So, what do you make of this mysterious video? Be sure to leave your questions and answers in the comments section below and help us to grow this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.